Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we'll be continuing our missing character series. Once again, I've been painting up a miniature and I wanted to speak about him. In this series, we'll talk about their lore, their rules on the tabletop, and how they could be translated into Total War Warhammer. Today's character is Theodore Bruckner, so without further ado, let's begin. To better introduce this character to those who might not be aware of him, we'll read over his entry into the Warhammer Fantasy 8th edition campaign supplement known as the Thrones of Chaos. Theodore Bruckner, the Hand of Judgment, the Titan Headsman, Champion of Null. The feared warrior, Theodore Bruckner, serves as the Countess Emmanuel of Null's headsman and personal and judicial champion, a role that exists to meet the ancient right of trial by combat available to the Empire's aristocracy, except after the commission of the direst of crimes. This makes Bruckner, in effect, both the personification of bloody-handed justice in the city and death incarnate to the Countess's political enemies. A giant of a man, dour, ruthless, and taciturn, he towers head and shoulders over even the sturdy folk of Wissenland, who make up the majority of Null's citizenry. And it is of little surprise that many tales have grown up to surround him. Some stories attribute his great size to sinister origins in Norsca, darkly tainted blood, or even alchemical experimentation at the Countess's behest. The truth, however, lies unknown, save to Bruckner himself and perhaps his patron. He is famed as a savage and skilled if unsubtle fighter, and most of all for his prodigious, some even say inhuman strength. Such is his physical power that during his judicial duel with the noted swordsman Lord Hans Craster, that after Craster, by virtue of superior speed and technique, had managed to disarm the hulking Bruckner, undeterred, the champion of Null grappled his plate-armored opponent, lifting him aloft and snapped his back with his bare hands. For Bruckner, such mystique as his mysterious origins and might have served him well, enhancing the reputation his bloody record has inspired, sowing fear and apprehension in those that would face him in combat, or scheme and plot behind the Countess Emmanuel's back. Bruckner is, however, no general or war leader, and he has no talent nor taste for such things, even if others would follow him, which is doubtful given the hatred his name engenders amid the burghers and lordly families of Null. Instead, he is content to fight and kill at his mistress's command, and has lasted over a decade in his highly paid office, making him the longest-serving champion of Null in living memory. With the threat of Tamukan's host ravaging its way northward, Bruckner rode out with Null's army, as he had before, astride the huge and near incontrollable demigryph, Reaper, itself a freakishly large example of its kind taken from Null's war menagerie. At the Countess's command, Bruckner had taken an oath, sworn before the great council of the city, to slay Tamukan for his crimes and desolations against Wissenland. And at his mistress's insistence, he had taken with him a talisman from the hand of the wizard Elsef von Draken to protect him from the hand of the malign powers of the enemy, a decision that would have fateful consequences as events unfolded. Theodore always struck out as a unique looking character on the tabletop, mainly of course due to his massive demigryph mount. They were both pretty decent in all honesty, despite the fact that most monstrous units were never really taken anymore due to 8th edition not being so kind to anything above an infantry base. It was still an impressive miniature with decent enough lore. Stat-wise, due to his own lore, Theodore himself was quite a proficient close combat fighter, having decently high weapon skill, strength and attacks, alongside Reaper of course, where the beast itself had above average stats too, so both of them together would be quite the powerhouse. In terms of special rules, the character and his mount really didn't have that many. Terror, large target, and slashing claws, which act as an AoE damage, all of which are already translated into the Total War Warhammer series. However, Bruckner himself has one special rule, the Hand of Judgment. This special rule had two effects. Firstly, Bruckner under no circumstances can lead an army, even though he was listed as a lord choice. I'm assuming in Total War Warhammer, this would be translated as making the character a legendary hero, which makes sense. And also, anytime he fights in a challenge, he would have the Unbreakable special rule. As of yet, unfortunately, there's still no forms of challenges, which are duels in the Total War series, so I'm assuming that maybe the character will be given Unbreakable as just a generic rule. Other than that, the character has a few different magical items. Liar's Bane was his trusty sword, which allowed the character a better chance at hitting and wounding. Of course, in Total War Warhammer, it would improve his chances to do damage, nothing more, maybe also even give armor piercing. Next is Stormlance, a magical lance weapon which would bestow the Killing Blow special rule. Of course, you can't have a character with two weapons just yet. We've obviously seen this in mods already, and it would be interesting if while mounted on Reaper, then Theodore would have access to Stormlance instead of Liar's Bane. And lastly, the Baleflame Amulet, which would bestow a ward save to the character. That is obviously easily translated. There is also a special second rule to this item, where if Bruckner is slain by a model in base combat, that model then immediately suffers d6 wounds, with no armor saving throw or regeneration possible. Basically, this translates to, should he be killed in close combat, he'll blow up and do damage in an AoE format. Which I believe is simple enough to easily create. I believe there's already some modders who've done this, so I'm assuming CA can do this too. Now, the only time I can see this character ever being implemented into Total War Warhammer would be through a Tamukan DLC, which we discussed recently in regards to Elsef von Draken. Naturally, this character would not be a legendary lord, but instead a legendary hero, and personally I believe that Creative Assembly should start looking towards possibly creating more legendary heroes. There are a lot of characters who might not deserve a lord spot, but still deserve to get represented in Total War Warhammer. I honestly believe that's the only chance that Theodore himself would have to become a legendary character. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a bit of a discussion. I'm sorry for the shorter video than usual, but I've been busy with a few projects which I just needed to complete with a short amount of time. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.